I'm between two.
Two folks. Hey, how you doing, folks? It's me, your shaman griot Sensei Alban. And remember, this is just a show of entertainment. Give you some insights, stories.
All you have to do is go like this and put them back.
Anyway, so I'm back in the noisy dining room with a nice view. And screaming kids have left, so and it's what time is it? 1:21. Well, that's a good synchronistic moment. And it's 1 minute and 11 seconds. That's a good synchronistic moment. And just wondering what you guys are up to here on this Saturday. Kind of clouding up. Not quite sure what I'm going to do. I'm like at that midpoint, and I could go. A friend of mine's having a little party, but it's a good 30 miles away. And I'm about 15 miles from my front door, and I have about just a smidge under half a tank of gas, and kind of gotten all my little chores done. But I've been rereading. I'm going through my stuff, and out here in the deep green, when I sold my school to the canary in the coal mine, I had to get my stuff out of there. And basically the school, after I tried to make it a school, I couldn't quite get students to step up because the school really depends more on the students than the teacher. So you, the cadre out there, you're more important than me. What you're doing. As a sensei, all I can be is a pebble in that pond, giving you a idea of like what you should kind of be doing. Leading. I try to lead by example, right? Anyway, so see right here. It'd be a little tough for me to do guided meditation with you guys. And I really can't do that kind of work. But if you go back, that's why I have 600 plus shows on Dreamy Dreamland, because they're all shamanic, just like this, are shamanic ceremonies that are there that you can go back and experience. And there are at least 200 guided meditations in those shows. Right here, this is like too loud, too many energies. It's hard for me to put up a shamanic shield to all of the people, who actually talk way too loud. What's interesting is, I'll be quiet for a minute.
$20 for a Canadian, for an American carton of cigarettes, $40 for a Canadian. And every time I go to New Brunswick, that's where I go.
And that's what people talk about, commerce, and we were not put on this world for commerce. We are spiritual entities. Again, this is our avatar, this bag of water here. So anyway, I spend most of my time going through my stuff and sorting things out. Living in the forest, you have to be in balance with the forest. You can't try to control it. And, there's snakes and there's everything out there that can eat me, right? But so I'm in balance with it, not a problem. If I get too, then it's a problem. So I was just talking to a friend of mine, and she's talking about how it's end of times. It's always been the end of times. So in the last week, I've been rereading all my. I found a big box of my philosophy books. And I showed you that one book, Socrates to Sartre. In one book, pretty much, it does a pretty good job at that. But I have about 30 other books in there that go more intense about each one of those philosophies. And I've been reading, starting with the Greeks, and they start with the Mesopotamians, the Babylonians, the people before them. So, the first two Greek guys, basically, there was this Polonius and this other guy, started with an H. One believed that everything was changed, and the other believed that nothing changed. It all stayed the same. And why Socrates was so important was he was a guy who said, hey, I know nothing. And he was like the first guy. And that's why the Oracle of Delphi said, smartest guy around is Socrates. And Socrates, well, that means that the Oracle doesn't know what it's talking about. Until he used the Socratic system to take it apart and realize that the Oracle realized that Socrates was saying that he didn't know anything. Whereas all these other philosophers and businessmen and politicians and artists and folks that had skill sets thought they were the smartest. Because, hey, I can make really good shoes, so I must be the smartest guy. I'm a really good sculptor, I must be the smartest guy. I'm a really rich guy, I must be the smartest guy. And pretty much that's where we are in our culture. Everybody thinks, look at Donald Trump. He's a stable genius because he allegedly has billions of dollars. No, little does he know, all he is a puppet. And when you think of puppet, what you should think of is Plato's treatise on the cave. And basically said we're all living in a cave and that our heads are chained to only look one direction and everything is going on behind us and the shadow is in front of us. So all we get to see is a shadow. And that's because we think that everything that our six senses register is reality. And basically, our senses register 0.006% of the universe. That's all that our senses register. So we base our belief, quote unquote, on everything on this limited input of data. So, and then put on top of that people's prejudices of their opinions, And what is an opinion? It's very similar to whatever orifice you hold dear and near to your heart. And most people, there's only two of those. The others, people neglect. Like we have 2 ears, only one mouth. We use this over time and we hardly use these. This is our strongest, our brethren of all our relations, dogs and other animals. Their dogs can smell cancer. Their ability, once they're trained to identify cancer. Hey, Aaron. What's happening in Arizona? Why don't you head up towards Tennessee? Come visit me if you're trucking. Oh, you're trucking as you're being paid to be a trucker, right? You're not taking a joyride. It's not a road trip, right? You're being paid to truck, right? That's what you're saying. So, Aaron, if you're a trucker and you are on the roads a great deal, what is your number one insight, to kind of what I'm talking about here? About, people are oppressed by their senses and they're not really seeing what's going on. What's your insight? What's your particular understanding? Yeah. I live relatively close to a place called Dublin, Virginia. And it's where Volvo has a big tractor trailer factory, and they probably produce, if not half, then at least 40% of all the tractors, pull trailers down the interstates. And basically those guys, and so I have a friend and I stay with, and that person is, really knows what's going on in that neck of the woods and what's going on with Volvo. He said Volvo has stopped building tractors with diesel and gas motors. All their drivetrains are no longer, geared. They're synchronous electric motors because the synchronous alternating current motor has way more torque than any gearbox can have. And basically the technology is already there to, bring forth autonomous trucking. And one of the X-Men movies, the one, I don't know which one it was, but it was like when, it was the near future, 2040 or so, and Hugh Jackman's taking care of Dr. X, who's getting old, and who's, and this girl is like the last of the X and has great powers and can change the world, and the powers that shouldn't be in the hidden hand are out to get her, and they're out to protect her and change time. And there's a great scene where they break down by the side of the road, and these tractor trailers are flying by, and there's nobody behind the thing. Or all they're doing is like got the loudest air horn. If you're in the way, they start blaring. Their radar sees you on the road. They start blaring the horn to the point that by the time the truck gets to you, you want to throw up. It's so loud. So that's that was a good little heads up. Kids, this is what trucking's going to be like in the next 10 years. So it's so what's your insight of the road, Alan, and autonomous trucking? My sense is, because I'm watching what's going on with Dominion Oil Company, electric company. They're bringing a fracking gas pipe right by all the electric transmission lines in Virginia because they don't have enough current to drive cars on electricity. They have enough capacity in their grid to do it, but not enough generation. And so what they're going to do is drop gas turbines along the way. Yep. So if you come near Johnson City, Tennessee, that's kind of, I'm like 35 miles to that. That's the closest. It's right off of 26, 81 and 26, Johnson City right here. And I'm like over here. I'm closer to Boone than Johnson City, but I'm kind of between Boone and Johnson City. So anyway, so Aaron, you should drop me your phone number on the due to wait 42 at Gmail, and I'll give you a phone call. And drive safe. And what do you think of 81? That's like a death trap, especially like between Roanoke and Lexington. It's like, wow. They built that road. I mean, see, that's the problem with the interstates. They built those things in the 50s and 60s. And now in, 2020, the traffic is probably 1,000 times more than those roads were designed to take. So it's got some issues. Anyway, how many people are watching? Oh, just you, Aaron. It's 16 minutes. And so, Aaron, what do you think of? So, do you have to text with your thumbs, or can you just speak into your phone and it types it out for you? Anyway, so I suggest people should read, and Socrates was pretty amazing because the Socratic method is really great for arguing because it puts the issue into a box so it can't get out, and then you keep asking it questions from different angles of the box to show that your opinion, or you can prove anything is right or wrong with the Socratic method. And that's why it's irrelevant, right? But it was a good first start. And what Socrates basically was coming from was that he saw that not as a belief structure, but as a tool, like a hammer. And he could go after the political structures or social structures in a way that allowed people to take apart, deconstruct. That was the first vehicle for deconstruction. And it's still the main thing of science, and that's why science is irrelevant, because the Socratic method is irrelevant too. So anyway, then Plato believed in this philosopher king, that democracy was corrupt. It lent itself to the lowest common denominator, and decided not to go there, and was looking for the philosopher king, and that's why he started the academy, because he said, okay, I'm going to start the best school I can to teach, the rich and powerful children to be really good, leaders. And the high school I went to, first it was a Catholic seminary where they had the guys in the Catholics, meaning going to be priests, the guys in business suits were going to be Catholic captains of industry, and then there were guys wearing uniforms who were going to be Catholic, generals, and that's pretty much what's happened to our country. And not so much. Sweetie, could I have an iced coffee? Well, iced coffee to go and a hot coffee to go. Anyway, so again, it's hard to be in this restaurant. I mean, it's the only place I can get a hold of you guys from. Okay. I want you to stay safe, Aaron. Don't be thumbing the text while you're driving. I mean, whenever I get in my car, I turn my phone off and put it away, so it doesn't even ring or notify me until I get back. Anyway, still just one person. Hey, Aaron, at least give me a thumbs up. Aaron, get some of your truck driver friends to watch Dreamy Dreamland, because there's a ton of stuff. I've done more than 640 shows. So. I mean, I'm heading towards 700 shows. And if I keep this up, I bet you by Christmas, I will have 700 shows. Anyway, I was going to go out to visit a friend of mine who's going to have an outdoor camp out party. The clouds are moving. I don't know what it's going to do. It's a drag to have an outdoor camp out party in the rain, but sometimes it's fun. Anyway, and the other thing is, it's hard to stay in a shamanic state of mind when there's so many energetic things around me. It's just right. It's nice to come during the middle of the week, but then, there's only one of you watching. Thank you, Aaron, for your thumbs up. And try and get other people to watch this. We need more subscribers. Thank you, Princess.
You're welcome.
And Liz.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that. And do you need more creamer?
Yeah. Anyway.
You're watching a series with your she has a travel and she'll draw tiles.
Anyway. Thank you, sweets.
You're welcome. I got you a handful of
You're a
them
good girl.
and then 2 lids.
Right. What's your name again?
Caitlin.
Caitlin. Right. Got it, Kate.
You have a good day.
Yep, you too.
Y'all want to know what this one's
Anyway. Caitlin, could I also have a straw?
Yeah.
All right, Ronnie. Are you lucky today? I like it.
Do you need 1 or 2?
Oh, one's good.
This one?
I'll take 2. That's on the road. Okay. Ooh, 2 minutes, 22. It's as good as any time to sign off. Stay well, be good. Drive safe, Aaron. I'll talk to you later. I might come back tomorrow.